Assalamu alaikum. This is your computer science teacher Sarfawar Ansari, and today we are starting a pseudocode topic because mostly students ask me to make a videos on the pseudocode basics. So that is why I am making a video lecture on the basics of the pseudocode, or you may say that we are starting the pseudocode from the scratch. So let's start and strengthen the topic of the pseudocode. So basically the question in the student's mind is common, that what is a pseudocode and why do we make it. So basically pseudocode is a plain text. It does not follow any programming language syntax, but it is used for the logic building of the particular problem. Because when you make a program, so first you make the logic of it, that how will you perform the specific operation. So to perform the particular task or the specific task, so we have to do some sort of planning in the form of a writing of a plain text. That is what the pseudocode is. So there are the certain things to know about the pseudocode, that pseudocode does not follow any programming language syntax, but it is good for the logic building. So we can go in deep thinking, that how do we make the formula, how do we construct the logic, how do we execute our program before converting it into the actual code. Because pseudocode is not the actual code. You can imagine that it is an exoskeleton. It is a plain text which is in the English language, and it does not include any programming language syntax. It does not follow any Java or Python or C. So this is what the pseudocode is. I hope you understood the concept of the pseudocode. Now next thing is that how do we write the pseudocode. So there are certain rules of the CAIE Cambridge examination. So the rules, we have to just keep these rules in our mind before writing the pseudocode. So there are the certain rules that you might not understand now, because these rules require a little bit knowledge of writing the pseudocode. So when you are just keep writing the pseudocode, so time by time you will understand the technique of the rule. So do not worry, I will explain you all the rules, but there are the rules that I will explain you when we are making the pseudocode. So the first rule is the keywords. So the keywords are basically are the reserve words. So basically keywords are the reserve words for the particular letters like input or print or output, and there are other keywords as well. So whenever we are writing any keyword, so our keywords must be written in the uppercase. As you can see in the example, your keywords must be written in the uppercase. So there are the other keywords I will explain you later on in the lecture. So do not worry about the other keywords. Next thing, as I told you, that the keywords are the reserve words. So these keywords cannot be used as other identifiers. For example, it cannot be used for the variable names, it cannot be used for the constants and other identifiers. So these are the reserve words. So keywords cannot be used by any variable or any other identifier. Next thing is a variable, that how do we write the variable. So variable must start with the uppercase. First letter must be in the uppercase, rest are small. So first letter must be written in the uppercase in the pseudocode, right? Another rule of the variable is that variable must have a meaningful name. For example, if I talk about age, so it is clearly understood, like yes, we are talking about the age. If we are making some kind of game pseudocode, like we want to show the score of the player number one, so the score is a variable name which is easy to understand, that yes, we are talking about the score of the player one. So we must use meaningful names of the variable. Next is the constants. So constants are the fixed values. I will explain you later on. But how do we write the constant? So first we write the keyword constant in the uppercase. For example, you can see here that the constant keyword is written in the uppercase, and then after that constant we have to write its identifier. For example, my identifier is pi. So first letter is capital, other is small, or you may make it uppercase as well. So like this. So constant pi, and then you are assigning the value of the pi 3.14 or 3.1 even. So it's up to you. So 3.14 or 3.1, so it is stored in the constant. So basically the thing is, how do we write the constant? First we write the keyword, and then we write the identifier of the constant. We will discuss later on about the variable and constant, so do not worry. Just try to memorize the rules of writing the pseudocode. Next thing, you will see the assignment operator. So what is the purpose of the assignment operator? It is used to assign the value into the variable. And assignment operator is symbolizes like this, the arrow. The direction of the arrow is very important. So for example, I want to assign this 0 into the variable. So I want to assign 0 into the variable, but how do we present? I write the assignment operator. So the value is assigning or storing inside the variable. Next thing is the control structures. So in the control structures, first is the selection statement. So we have got two selection statements, or we can say conditional statements. So selection or conditional statements. So let me write here so you can understand conditional statements. So we have got two conditional statements or two selection statements. One is the if then or if then else statement, and the other is case of. Next thing is the loop. So what do we use for? We have got three loops in the syllabus. For next loop, while and while loop, and the repeat until loop, right? Rest of the rules I will explain you time by time, because you cannot memorize all the rules at the same time. For example, indentation. So you cannot understand indentation right here because it requires some loops and conditional statements. So I will explain you when we start the conditional statement and the loops. So do not worry, I will explain you indentation later on. Next is a comment. Comment why you are using the code. So for each code, you may write each comment. The comment helps you to understand that why you are using the code or the purpose of your code. What is the purpose of your code? So you explain in a short sentence that why you are using. For example, I add these two variables. And assign into this variable. So what is the purpose of this code? So I write with the two backslashes, and then I write following code adds two numbers. Simple. So write the comment in the short sentence, so you will memorize the purpose of the code, or you are explaining a third person that what is the purpose of the code. So it could be asked in the question that write down the comment. So you may write down the comment like this. First you write the comment and then you write the code. Even though there is another method, for example, you write the code here, even though you may write the comment after the code by using these two slashes. So there are two ways, it's up to you. If you have got extra number of lines in the examination, then you may go for this method. But if you feel that you do not have extra lines, so you may use this method, right? If you feel that you do not have extra lines, so write the comment right after your code. So everything depends on the situation. Next thing, your pseudocode although does not follow any programming language syntax, but your pseudocode should be clear and well structured, because you will get the maximum marks when your pseudocode is clear and structured, or you may say well organized. I hope you got this concept. Now let's go to the next step. Now the next step is the data types. So what are the data types? So we have got 5 data types in our syllabus. One is the integer, one is the real, one is the char or character, you can say. Next is a string, and the last one is the boolean. So what is the integer? Integer is the whole value, whole number. So it could be 5 or 99 or 1000 or 100 or 64. Even though the whole number might be in the negative, like you can see here, minus 45, minus 87, minus 69, minus 85, any number. Next is a real data type must be in the decimal format like 9.8 or 6.4 or 1.5, even though real number can be in the negative as well, like minus 66.5, minus 4.7, it could be any number. Next is a char or the character. It signifies single alphabet, single letter. So it could be A, it could be Y, it could be Z. Even though we are talking about the character, so we can also write the symbol, for example, hash symbol or percentage symbol. So char is a character which can be any alphabetical or special character. Next is a string. String like is a group of characters. For example, Muhammad is a group of characters, or house number 34. It is a combination of alphanumeric characters, alphabet and the numbers. So your string makes up with a group of characters. It could be numbers or special characters, even though only alphabets as well. Next is a Boolean. Boolean is a data type which shows the condition is true and false, or we write the yes no condition. So just take it simple, like it is used for the particular condition that could be true or that could be false. For example, or yes or no. So let's understand with the perspective of yes or no. For example, you are applying in the college and on the website there's a question that have you applied before, yes or no. There are two conditions, yes or no. So if you have applied before in that college, so you will click on the yes button. But if you have not applied before, so you will click on the no button. So yes or no is a data type, or the true and false as well. So we will discuss it later on in the detail, because we are just taking the intro of all these data types. So do not worry if you do not understand. We will, when we solve the question, you will get a clear picture of it. Another example of the yes or no, for example, you are applying for the Umrah, and on the website, for example, there's a question that have you applied for the Umrah before, yes or no. So in, for example, this is just an example. So you may click yes if you had applied before, otherwise you will click on the no if you have not applied before. So in this case, Boolean data type is also there. I hope you have understood it till here, but we will get to know about it later on in the lecture. So do not worry. Next thing is a variable. So what is a variable basically? Let me move it here. Yeah. So what is a variable? Imagine that you have got a pencil box. So you are storing your stuff in the pencil box. So what is a pencil box? Pencil box basically is a storage. In the same way, your school or your college bag. So what is the purpose of your college bag or the school bag? Of course, to put your books or copies and the other stuff in your bag. So if I say that your bag is a storage, so I think it is not wrong, right? So variable is a storage, but variable only store one value at a time. And the benefit of using a variable is that the variable's value can be changed during the execution of the program. For example, if you are changing the value um, from for example 5 to 7, so you may use you may make a proper pseudocode of it, so you can change easily. So basically the concept of the variable is that it is a temporary storage, or it is a storage where we can store single value at a time, right? So we cannot store two values, do not confuse, we cannot store two values, we store only single value. For example, in this variable age I store 5, this is it, but 5 can be changed later on in our pseudocode. So yeah, we will see that how the values changes. Next, for example, if I want to store text, Ali is a text, so I'm storing the variable name. So This is how we store the values in the variable. I hope you get the concept. Now next thing is, what is a constant? So it is a permanent storage. Variable is a temporary, but constant is a permanent storage, and the value of the constant cannot be changed, right? So your value of the constant will remain same throughout the program. For example, my constant is pi, and the value of pi is 3.14. So 3.14 will remain same throughout the program. So it is a permanent storage, so it cannot be changed, right? I hope you get the clear picture over here. Alright, so now let's start a sample question with the solution. So this is the question that write an algorithm using pseudocode 2. So input two numbers, then calculate two numbers, and then output the total of two numbers. So how do we write the pseudocode? The first step is a declaration. We type declaration, or we write declaration in the uppercase. So first let's understand what is a meaning of declaration. So basically the purpose of the declaration is to show the data type of a variable. For example, it says input two numbers, right? Input two numbers. So for example, first we write the declare keyword in the uppercase. Next I must choose a proper variable name. For example, my variable name is number 1, or you may also write num1. And then I have to mention that what data type I want to use. So I write colon, and then after that I write my data type name. It's up to you. You may use real or you may use integer. So it's your call. So I'm taking integer. So the declaration step helps us to mention the data type of your variable. Now about the next step, I take another variable and I declare it in the same way. So the purpose of the declaration is to mention the data type of your variable. Next step is the initialization. Let me write for the clear understanding. Initialization. So what is the purpose of initialization? To assign the values. So let me write a proper description of here of both words, declaration and initialization. Okay, so the purpose of the declaration that it helps us to mention the data type and along with the variable name before it is used, because we have not starting using these variables. We have just started writing pseudocode, so these variables are not in use. So before using any variable, we have to mention the data type. Next thing is, you can see that num1 and I initialize. This step is called initialization. This step is called initialization. So the purpose of the initialization is to start your variable with the initial values, which is commonly 0. Because imagine that if you want to put something in your pencil box, for example, so by default your pencil box is empty, there's nothing in your pencil box, and then you put your stuff inside the pencil box. For example, you buy a new school bag or you buy a new college bag. So your new bag is empty. So by default your bag has nothing in it. So then after that you start putting the things. So this is the same thing. So that these are the variables that have been not used. So we have to initialize it with the common number 0. So I hope you get this concept. Now for your better understanding, I can write this as a comment. So this comment will help you understand that. For the better visualization, I am making it bold, and I also take it as a comment, right? So these are the first two steps. First is a declaration step and the other is the initialization step. Imagine your pseudocode has got 5 variables or 6 variables. So your 5 or 6 variables will be declared as the same way. even though your variables will be initialized as a same. Now next thing is input two numbers. So input means that now we are ready to input our numbers. So let's suppose I write the keyword input. Oh, sorry. Before input, we have to pop up a message, or we have to show the message, or you have to display the message. So for example, you are visiting a website, and you have to log in your Google account. But when you open the website, it does not show you anything. So what do you expect? What to do? So when you see the login screen says enter password and enter user ID, then you will understand that yes, now I have to input the user ID and the password. But if the Google or any other website does not show you this information, so what you will do? You have no idea what to do. So that is why to display the information, we use the keyword output, even though you may use the keyword print. So it's up to you. You may go for the output or you may go for the print. So it's your choice. Output, enter a number. Now this portion is called prompt. In the inverted commas, whatever we write, is called prompt. So this is a prompt that we are using. Now here, after displaying the prompt, we take the user input, and if you remember, we took the variable number 1. So this is, so the idea is pretty simple. We display the message, and whatever the user will input, for example 2, 7, 95, 107, 296, 304, whatever the user will input, it will store in the variable, right? So you display, first step is to display the information with a prompt. Let me type the spelling of the prompt. This is the spelling of prompt, right? So prompt is a sentence that you write inside the inverted commas. After displaying the prompt, whatever the user will input, it will be stored in the variable. Now let's copy and paste this code. So here we write another prompt, that enter another number, and then we take this value num2. Now we have input the two numbers. Next step is to calculate calculate the total of two numbers. So it means that num1 plus num2, right? We have calculated it, but we have to store it in another variable. This is a you may say that it is a well structured approach, or this is a this could become our algorithm or our pseudocode more organized. So when you use a variable, so it helps you to organize your code. So that is why I am adding these two numbers, and then I am storing it into another variable. So my variable name is total. Although if you say sum, so it's okay, you may use sum or you may use total, any meaningful variable name. So the thing is pretty much clear, that we take two variables, store them inside another variable. Now we have performed the second step. Let me show you. We have performed first step and the second step. The last is the output. So how do we output? We display the information with the prompt total is, and then we write our variable name total. Why? For example, this message, it can be interpreted like total is 64, total is 5, total is 3.8, total is 94. So prompt will help us to display the information, and the variable name will help us to display actual total. For another example, for example is total is 75. total is 99. So the prompt is displaying the text as it is, and the variable is displaying the actual total. Now we have to wind up our algorithm or the pseudocode. Now we type end in the last. End means that your pseudocode is now completed. So let me put it on the same page. So this is how we write the pseudocode, right? So this is the first class of the pseudocode. If you still not clear with it, you may WhatsApp me your query, or you may text me your question on the WhatsApp. So I will be able to help you. And this is not the full stop of the pseudocode. I will make another video lecture on the pseudocode with a different question, right? So let's wind up the class today. Thank you so much for watching the video. Take care. Allah Hafiz.
Yo, listen up, I got a story to tell about a teacher who knows this subject real well. Mr. Akta, the computer science champ, teaching O-levels, he's the main stamp. From algorithms to coding, he's got the knowledge, always rocking the class, never in college. He's got the skills, making programming cool with every lesson. He's breaking the rules. Mr. Akta, the guru of computer science, he's the one who got us through like a reliant. From O-levels exams to acing every test, we're learning from the best. He's the very best.